Hey there, comic book fans. I am back this Christmas to show you some books that I got for Christmas. It's not exactly Christmas today, it's the day after, but I figured I'd show you a few of the comic-related items I got as gifts. And as weird as I actually got a new iPad this Christmas. And the camera's in a different spot. The aspect ratio is different. I had to set my tripod up different. So it's all a little weird as I'm filming this right now. The first one on this new iPad. That's what I got, an iPad. But this is Paul Up North. Although the iPad sits lower on the tripod than the old iPad. So I don't know, it's just strange. But Paul Up North is a French-Canadian comic series. I have more of these, and they're kind of all slice of life. Paul growing up as a teenager and in his early 20s stuff, black and white. And, you know, just something I enjoy. There's a bunch of, they're all named Paul Does Something. And it's a good series, so can't wait to read that one. And next is another French-Canadian cartoonist, Bernie Edward Mirault, I think is how you say his last name. I've loved his stuff for years and years and years. Man, this is so weird. It's like amazing how changing your equipment, like an iPad, can just mess up how you. I mean, I've been working on that same iPad since I started YouTube, so now I'm having to move differently and show things a little differently. It's just so strange. I'll get used to it. But here's a lot of black and white stuff on this. I think these are just all small pieces of his over the years. He did a book called The Jam, Urban Adventure, which I really liked a lot. He did a 3-issue run on Grendel. Jeez, got to get this in front of the. That's the Jammer right there in the book The Jam. Did like a 3 or 4 issue run on Grendel way back when, like Grendel issues, I don't know, 13 to 16, that I really, really enjoyed his stuff on that. But yeah, that's just something, I think he self-published this one, but he's one of my favorites. Can't wait to read. And next we have Resident Alien, Welcome to Earth by Peter Hogan and Steve Parkerhouse. This is one I read some of it in Dark Horse Presents years ago, and I've always meant to read more of it. It's been on my Amazon wish list for a while, because usually I just don't buy that many trade paperbacks, but I get them for birthdays and Christmas. And it's a story about an alien who crash landed on Earth, and he's just trying to pass as human until he can get off. There he is, and he's a doctor, and everyone else sees him as human, but that's what he really looks like. And it's just kind of a neat little, I guess this is almost a slice of life story if your life is an alien who crash landed on Earth and you're trying to pass as human until you can get rescued. But I really enjoyed the stuff in Dark Horse Presents all those years ago, and I think this is some of it, and plus some new stuff. Well, new to me, because I think this came out, what year did this come out? Let me just give it a quick, oops, see that? I also had to get a new mount for my tripod and iPad, and it's a bit more jiggly than the old one. Hold on, I'm going to tell you in a minute what year this came out. 2011, 2012, and 2013. So man, it's been a while since so this actual trade came out in 2013. That's been on my pull list for a while. But like I said, I think there's at least one more, if not 2 more of these trades out, but it's a good story. And then we've got some Gasoline Alley by Frank King and Dick Moores. And this is, as you can see from the covers, from 64 to 66. And I have all the early Gasoline Alleys that's published under the name Walton Skeezix, because the strips are actually in the public domain, but the name Gasoline Alley isn't. And I had never read them before they published them in the Walton Skeezix books, and they're just brilliant. I think there's, let me see, is there, nope, this is all dailies. Like I said, I read the stuff from the 20s and the early 30s that is just brilliant. It's one of the most brilliant comic strips I've read, Gasoline Alley. But I don't know about the 60s stuff, but I'll get a chance to read it since here's a book of it. But like I said, if you ever get a chance to read Walton Skizik's, I think there's 7 volumes of it out, and I put it up there with the best comic strips of my lifetime. I put as Peanuts, Calvin and Hobbes, The Far Side, and Doonesbury. And after having read the 1920s Gasoline Alley, that goes up there too, even though it was before my lifetime. That I'd add to the 5th strip to my pantheon of greatest comic strips ever. I can't wait to try out this 60s stuff. And this last one is more comic strips, and it's gigantic. It's Pogo by Walt Kelly, and it's a box set, the complete syndicated comic strips. Oh, let me pull these out for you. This is the box. This is the first 2 volumes. Where's volume 1 here? I don't know if you've ever read Pogo Possum. I have met the enemy, and he is us. Forward by Jimmy Breslin. But this is once again another great comic strip from the 50s. I think it ran 10 years from like 51 to 61. I know that there's a book I've long had called 10 Ever-Lovin' 10 Ever-Lovin' Years with Pogo or something like that. That was in its 11th printing by the 80s when I got it. And that's really where I've read Pogo in that book. But now I got the complete Pogo and Okefenokee Swamp, is that it? Albert the Alligator. And this is the one where in the back they have the Sunday strips. And it's just, wow. I can't wait to read these. And he uses the writing in it. He's got all sorts of colloquial writing, and his lettering is, well, look at that. That thing bounces whenever I bang against it. That tripod. He's got, just look at his lettering. Ooh. He's got like different fonts for different people, and this is, I think this is all hand lettered stuff too. His lettering is something else, and his colloquialism, oh man, it's getting hard to hold these books. So there we go. A little look at some comic related stuff I got for Christmas. The complete syndicated comic strips. There's also, if you're a Pogo collector, he did comic books of Pogo too, so that's kind of interesting in the 50s. But there you go. Little look at some of the stuff I got for Christmas. So you guys all have a good time out there.